patients can't unsee this. And it's something that they're going to remember. And once they see it, the question changes from should I do it to when can I start? It's just an amazing, amazing tool, and it's simple. Again, if you don't have the designer to design that for you, Row is an excellent, excellent resource for you where they can do the design and you can just print it in your office. All right, so the trial smile can become a case acceptance multiplier. So this emotional impact that you provided for your patients can turn into measurable business growth. And for us, it has truly been a case acceptance multiplier. This year, I think we're at about 35 to 40% case acceptance for the cases that we have made trial smiles for. So that's huge. Again, it shows patients what's possible. It takes away the fear and the uncertainty. And some patients don't move forward right away. So it might be no now, but it's not no forever. And we call that patient stacking because we've seen this in our office happen. We've probably been doing trial smiles for the last 2 to 3 years. And sometimes patients will call back 6 months later or 2 years later because they remember the experience. They remember, they're confident in your clinical ability because of what you've shown them. And when they're ready, maybe it's, the timing's not right. They've got other things going on. Maybe their finances weren't in line, but when they're ready, they're going to come back to you when you've shown them what's possible. These patients are going from uncertain to when can we start? And they're not buying the teeth. They're buying the confidence that you have created by trying on the trial smile. The confidence replaces the confusion. I've said it before, but instead of us dentists using technobabble over and over to over-explain things, to over-dentist them, we can just be quiet and show them what's possible. Because again, remember, most patients just want pretty straight white teeth. It gives patients confidence in our clinical skills and the results that we can deliver. And it replaces the confusion and the uncertainty. So the way that these work in our office is that we try these in first, take the photos, put them up on the screen so they can see their before photo and their after photo. And then we go into the financial conversations. So it makes those financial conversations much easier when you've shown them what's possible. They understand what they're buying. And it's emotional. They're feeling good, they're feeling great, they're feeling confident in these new teeth. So again, we've removed the fear of the unknown. We're building trust and ultimately shortening the decision cycle. So again, making the financial conversations much easier. So once they've said yes, what's next? Well, designing the final smile becomes super easy because we've already shown them what the trial smile can look like. So we've then just got to go back in, make some tweaks to our design so that we can have a diagnostic wax up. And then we can actually 3D print prototypes for them to wear as temporaries, and then move towards our final ceramics. So what I'm going to do in these next few slides is go through a case example, and this is Monica. She's one of our amazing patients, and she started all the way from trial smile to final ceramics that we delivered about a year ago. So a little bit about her story. She came in to hygiene, and we take photos in hygiene. We talked to her about her smile. She had been unhappy with it for years. She had some bonding that she didn't really love. So we invited her to come back for a trial smile. And she did. She needed some general dentistry done, some fillings and some crowns. And then we showed her what was possible with her front teeth and how we could change her smile. and she loved it. But the timing wasn't right. She wasn't ready. Financially, she wasn't ready. She didn't have the time in her schedule, her busy work schedule, to do it then. But several months went by, and she came back. She came back, and you can see in this pre-op scan that she had chipped her front tooth. And she said, I chipped my front tooth. I don't want this to get worse. You guys showed me what that trial smile could look like. I want to come back and talk about how we can make this happen. So again, it wasn't yes in the moment, but we had built the confidence, shown her what was possible, and she came back and was ready to go. So we updated her scans. We turned her trial smile into a diagnostic wax up, and then we were ready for prep day. Going from the 3D printed trial smile to the diagnostic wax up to the 3D printed prototypes. And we already had a starting point because we had shown her what was possible. So again, the same process. We're going to take our 2D images, our digital impression. We're going to design in exocad, or we're going to design with Row. And we're going to create our diagnostic wax up for prep day. This is our roadmap. This is our guide to prepping on prep day. And then we're going to use this to create the 3D printed prototypes. So we're going to print those out and actually cement them in so that then she can do a true test drive of what her final ceramics will look like. So once we have prep day, we get all the teeth prepped and ready. And we're going to draw the margins around the prep teeth. And then we are going to basically shrink wrap our design over our preps so we can 3D print these prototypes. Let's watch this quick video to see how simple this process can be. So marking all the margins, shrink wrapping the design, cleaning things up. Can get the occlusion right. And again, the beautiful thing is if you don't have exocad in your office to do this, you can send your prep scans to Row. They will have made you a diagnostic wax up previously, and they will actually draw the margins, shrink wrap the design to the preps, and then they will send you back STL files, and you can 3D print these prototypes in your office. It's an awesome solution if you don't have an in-house designer, which most of us don't. Adjusting contacts, just making sure that everything is where we want it. And then I like to design them in segments. I think they're stronger and the temporaries for us stay in better. So we usually put them in, anywhere from 2 to 4 tooth segments, and then we're ready to print. Again, we're going to load these to the printer. They print in literally 15 to 20 minutes.
So like you could see it kind of printing because it was so tall. And so I looked at it a little bit and I was like, how washing it.
And then we're going to remove them from the printer, wash them and cure them. You're good. And then we've got our prototypes printed and they're ready for the true test drive. So again, these are wearable guides for real world testing where we can actually test out their bite, test out the aesthetics, the phonetics, and how the final ceramics are going to be. So we've got everything isolated. We're going to cement these in. And then we always see patients back the next day when they're not numb and they're not sedated. So again, we can really test out the aesthetics, the function, and the phonetics. So we're having patients talk in these, chew in these, we're rechecking their bite, we're taking photos, we're asking them what they like or dislike, because then we can use all that information and communicate any design refinements with the lab. And often with these 3D printed prototypes are so exact, there's usually very minimal or no refinements at all. So then we can basically copy these prototypes and turn them into final ceramics. So they just really truly eliminate the guesswork. So the patients test drive them and we can perfect them. So we're going to go from the 3D printed prototypes to the perfection, the final ceramics. This case we did with Roe. They sent back the final ceramic. And because we had done all this pre-planning, pre-designing, it makes seat day so much less stressful because we know what we're delivering. So the emotional and the aesthetic confidence carries through to delivery day. So we're going to seat these finals. And get a beautiful end result. And then we're going to see the patient back after seeing the finals because they're numb that day too. And we can do in our office, we usually see them back anywhere from 1 day to 1 week later. And we're going to do a post-op check their bite, check their occlusion, again, check the aesthetics, make sure we don't need to make any last minute, adjustments. It just really gives you the confidence to deliver the final ceramics. Beautiful ceramic work. If you're not doing this, make sure you're integrating photography and digital storytelling into your practice marketing. When you take these pictures, you can show patients, you can use them for before and afters, you can use them for social media purposes, and it's really been a game changer in our office. We're able to show and tell our community how we're the experts in digital smile design and smile makeovers. And a lot of this is through photography and videography. So I love this slide because it truly shows the step-by-step process and how we made this happen. So with Monica, we started from the before pictures, the trial file pictures, to the temporaries, the 3D printed prototypes, and then to the after pictures with the final ceramics. So again, we can build confidence and predictability and growth through this process. And to our patients and community, we can build a reputation as a high-tech, patient-centric practice. The trial smile can really help us increase case acceptance and then give us the confidence to go to prototype design and all the way to final ceramics. It decreases lab remakes and increases patient referrals. When patients can see it, feel it, and live it before saying yes, you don't have to sell dentistry. You're simply delivering the experience that they already fell in love with. So when you're going from showing them what's possible with that trial smile to letting them truly test drive things in the 3D printed prototypes to then delivering the final ceramics with confidence. The patients aren't saying yes to the teeth. They're saying yes to the experience, to the feeling, to the emotional side of this. So showing them what's possible is truly what makes the difference. I'd like to invite all of you watching to our Smile Design course with 3D Dentist. We're going to be in Nashville in January and in August. And what you're going to learn there is how to make and design these trial smiles. We're going to talk about the case acceptance side of things, the business side of things, and then actually get into the 3D printed prototypes and even how to prep the teeth, how to seat these prototypes, how to seat final restorations. It's truly an awesome, awesome class if you're wanting to do more of this life-changing smile makeover dentistry. So thank you all for watching and attending. in closing, I want to just show you this testimonial. It's a couple minutes long, but it's Monica, and I think she really, really hits home with what we're trying to, get our patients to understand and the experience that we want to provide for them.
And, as you know, when you're sitting in the chairs, you have the nice little examples of the before and after. And so while you're waiting for someone to come in, you have the opportunity to look at those. And it's pretty impressive to see it. And initially, I had thought, these are all just really young, pretty people. And the more I watched it, I realized that there were so many people that were my age that were doing it. But at that visit, Dr. DJ had said, we have the ability here, the technology, to do a trial smile. And I think that is what that did it for me. So when they did that, within a week or so, they had a little piece that would fit in to show me what the trial smile was going to look like, or potentially what a real, the real smile could look like. Kate was here that day, and she took pictures, and so I was able to look at the before and the after. And it was just mind-blowing, and I just thought, if I could only do that, oh gosh, if I could only do that. So that led to talking about, what is the potential of my being able to do that. And I think historically, having something like that done was only for the wealthy, and I think things have come to the point now where average people can come in and have that done because the technology is there and the payment plans are set up, or prices are manageable. You can do that. And so a normal person like me could actually think of the reality of it. And so that's kind of when we decided, I think I want to do this. I was able to eliminate every concern that I had. And the reason for that would have been the technology. When I walked in, the very first time I walked in the office, I recognized that this was a technology that I'd never seen before. It may be available other places. I've never seen it. And so that gained my confidence. The interaction that I've had with the staff has just been incredible. I mean, the place is called All in the Family Dental, and that's how they act when you come in. You feel like you belong there. I don't feel like I'm an imposter coming to a nice dentist office, and Dr. Allie is just incredible. Once she had once she had the permanent first one crowns on and she was done, I said to her, I wouldn't have trusted any other office to have done this ever. And I think she might not have realized at that moment, but I felt a little emotional about it because there was so much more I probably could have said. And luckily today I have the opportunity to say a little bit, but you don't want to break down in the dentist office over your teeth.
Again, thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, I'd love for you to reach out. Ro will provide my contact information, and I would love to help you grow in this life-changing side of dentistry.